It's the savvy side of 9 to 5. Listen.
It's not a lie if you believe it.
Laugh.
We had a little fun, because it's a very long day, you know.
And learn.
Negotiation. This is what you do in business.
This is The Focus Group with Tim Bennett.
All right, let's go already.
And John Nash.
Pucker up, Buttercup.
With a focus on career, the consumer culture, and marketing from an LGBT point of view. We're all business, except when we're not.
Hello. Welcome to The Focus Group. Tim Bennett here, as always, with my good friend and co-host, John Nash, who told me I was in a semi-lumbersexual shirt today.
Well, it's a great-looking shirt, and it looks great on camera, too.
Well, I didn't know.
Is that new, or is that...
It's an LL Bean shirt. I bought it for the holiday show that we did years ago. And I found it in the back of my closet.
Well, you know, you have a lot of stuff you hang on to.
LL Bean's like Connecticut. The past is still present.
Well, you hung on to some old Banana Republics, which look brand new.
The lesbian denim I had on that
Lesbian
one week.
denim, you've held on to this. I think that was one of the holiday parties I went, for some reason I was obsessed with getting a vest.
That's when Lisa Birnbach from the Preppy Handbook came on.
Quickly you saw that.
Little dandy vest you had on.
The red,
brocade.
and that was when I was about 8 pounds lighter, and it was a little slimmer at the waist.
I was 40 pounds lighter. Hey, thanks for joining us live if you're listening here on the Facebook or through the stream on YouTube. And, of course, our phone lines are open if CBS or NBC or somebody needs to call because they're falling like flies. John and I are available. If you need to do a show, we can wear a blazer. It's 877-962-6846. I was shocked about Matt Lauer today. Were you?
We both woke up.
Not really?
Well, okay, so the Matt Lauer conversation is interesting because we both woke up to the fact that NBC had this information. They decided to let him go. But we all know here in the media world that there are rumors swirling about, not about harassment or misconduct, but about how iron-fisted he was running the Today Show. You know, people would leave the show quickly.
So was that borderline?
No, I just think he was, you know, he had a brand. He was the brand. He protected it. But, you know, you remember, now I'm spacing on her name, Ann Curry.
Ann Curry.
You know, that was a quick, she was correspondent, then she was part of the group, and then boom.
Get out.
And apparently there was a chemistry issue between him and Ann Curry, so.
This reminds me of, what was
Salem?
it? No, who was the guy? I always forget his name. He was the Brit in 4 Weddings and a Funeral, got in trouble for picking up a...
Oh, I see his face, and Hugh Grant?
Yeah. But whether you're Harvey,
out in
Harvey
California.
Weinstein, or you're Kevin Spacey, or you're Matt Lauer, or you're Charlie Rose, or you're so-and-so and so-and-so, if you're that all tuned up and horny, hire a prostitute.
Well, yeah. Well, and then...
Don't you agree?
Well, yeah, and by the way...
Why would you jeopardize your $25 million, $30 million career? We'll do it for $1 million.
You know, hey, sidebar, I wonder if our booth gang is going to wear, like, Santa hats during December. There could be like Garrett, and there could be John and Allie. So we got Garrett, John, and Allie. Oh!
There they are. And I brought Garrett some of those birthday cake Oreos today. And I noticed they got hidden very quickly.
Yeah, and you know, Tim's exact words to Garrett were, I can't have these in my house. You know why? They're delicious. You walk by the pack, you have one every time. It's like having a piece of cake.
Exactly. I saw them, and they do taste like Duncan Hines.
Perfect. It's a Duncan Hines cake with Betty Crocker frosting. It's like yummy.
I got to tell you something sick and gross. So I ate a few of those.
Yeah.
Now remember last year they had said if you ate the pink ones, the peep ones, you were going to poop.
Yeah, but no one ever. Yeah.
So I ate these birthday cake ones, and you told me they taste like Duncan Hines, and I agreed. The Duncan Hines frosting.
Yeah.
So I'd gone to the restroom, and then I thought, wow, it smells fantastic.
Smells like processed sugar.
I'm wondering if my, what would you call it? My relieving of myself smells like Duncan Hines frosting.
Your stool.
My stool.
To be clinical.
So I thought, wow, everybody talked about the peeps. These make it's like poopery coming out of your body. But you know what it was?
What?
I'd gone to Home Goods and I bought one of those fragrance things I forgot and put it behind the toilet, and it had it had a vanilla caramel scent to it. And I'm thinking, man, every time I go to the bathroom, it smells fantastic. These cookies are unbelievable. This is a new brand extension.
Natural.
But that's not what it was.
Natural freshener.
Yeah.
You know, You almost want to be a fly on the wall in the Bennett household. There is no doubt about that, because you're sitting on the bowl and you're like,
Like, that smells good.
And then your mind goes to the little air freshener you bought one day in.
No, I did. It was a couple days, and I kept thinking that's why I brought the cookies in. I said I got to get rid of these cookies because I think this is the deal. But anyway, so
Back to this Matt Lauer thing. Shocking, because he is
Speaking of poop.
because he's a front man for when they're on he does the Olympics. He was going to be at the tree lighting tonight.
That's what one of your funniest lines of last year. He was going to light the tree tonight. Rock Center.
No more. No more. No one can see Matt light the tree.
Roker's probably he's in the hot seat. He's ready to take over.
You wonder who's next, right? So we were on the phone the other day on a conference call. Tim was in Philly, I was in New York, and we were talking to a media guy, and he's talking to us about our show and a bunch of stuff, and I just said, we don't need to do anything. We're just waiting for the call from CNN, MSNBC. Hey guys, we got an opening. Well, if it's 7 p.m., we'll take it.
Hey, Chris Mahoney sent me a text this morning after the Matt Lauer thing. She says, "You and John keep the phone lines open." She said, NBC or CBS may be calling.
And to be serious for a second, though, if you watch Meet the Press on Sunday, I think it was Katie Tur said, the strange thing about this, and maybe it's not so strange, is that if it's media, if it's anything non-political, out the door in 2 seconds flat. But if you're a politician,
let it ride.
Let it ride. Let's elect the pedophile in Alabama, and
Well, and our president's the biggest offender, but yeah. But we could have shows and shows and shows. We could have a daily show,
which other people do.
Yeah.
We're here for our fans, though, to say no. You can be entertained.
So
by
who's
us.
on our show today, Mr. Knapp?
I am very excited about the show because one of my favorite people is joining us today. It's
It was
Brian.
dancing over. Did you see him just dancing?
Off camera, it's Brian Roman from AdMark 360, and he's going to be doing the business spotlight. So he was on the show about 3 months ago,
once a
quarter in the summer and fall, or the summertime, and he introduced us to 2 or 3 companies that were cool, LGBT owned, usually a small business. And this week he's bringing 3 different businesses, and they are very different to the show. So he'll be on later in the show, and that's what's happening today.
And then, and I'm happy to say that we were notified this week that we have a new sponsor joining us for the holiday season. And the sponsor is Mangreat, and you can go to mangreat.com. And I love the question, John. It says, here's what I was going to ask you. It's not enough to just have great meat. Bump. Do we have a
GRAT? Yeah, it's not enough to have great meat.
I can't get, just.
I'm paying. I was still recovering from lifting the.
It is a heavy thing. So this Mangreat is cool because a lot of people, now I grill out all summer as you do, and a lot of people in the Northeast, they say, oh, you don't necessarily grill out, but I grill out all year long, don't you?
Okay, so this was a cool, so we got called and they're like, oh, Mangreat would love to have you guys talk about them on the show, and I was intrigued by this because my mom's husband cooks all year long on the gas grill. Snow, doesn't matter. In fact, it's really great to go out and cook something. They're big fish, they're salmon.
Like fish?
They love salmon, and I'm wondering, so this is a cast iron appliance and there's 2 of them that come in the box.
They're 8 pounds.
They're about 8 pounds a piece, and the theory is that whatever surface you put this on, whatever grilling surface, this absorbs the heat and conducts it evenly throughout. Correct?
It's like a cast iron
in a restaurant
skillet that your grandma used to use. So what you do is you heat those up on your grill and on any surface. When you heat those up, and then you turn the temperature down to medium, and then it does an even thing, even heat distribution. What I love about them, particularly things like bacon, stuff like that when you cook, because my grill, I have an expensive grill, but my biggest frustration is that it's uneven. So there's parts of the grill that are little dead zones where things don't cook well.
And it gets filthy.
Yeah.
So the grate that is on your grill is one thing. This is a whole separate thing that comes off, and they give you this great
brush.
So Tim takes.
I was going to use that in the shower.
You get this great brush, this great cleaning brush, and Tim goes, "I think I could use that on my back." And I'm like, "Yeah, you might rethink that."
The other cool thing is why we think it's a great gift is because it's one of those luxuries that you might not buy for yourself, but it's a great gift and people will appreciate it. And I always say the other thing, you said it's cast iron, but it's made in the USA, and I used to work for LTV Steel, so I know that U.S. steel is the best. Just like aircraft carriers or pickup trucks, you want to buy U.S. made, don't you think?
U.S. made. I'm fascinated by this. So you get 2 of them, and if you put 2 together, you have a perfect surface for your meat and fish. And I want more salmon in my diet, and I think grilling salmon is fantastic.
Well, grilling salmon doesn't smell.
Can you
at the
do this
house.
on a? Can you use this on a charcoal?
Yeah, you can use it on just virtually almost any surface. as
So
long as there's
you
a
get
grill.
it to temperature, you put it on.
Yep.
Or it's on when you light it. As the heat starts to settle into a normal temperature, this distributes it
It's
evenly.
cast iron, just like cooking.
And I think there was one of the things they say is that it puts those sear marks that everybody loves.
Well, yeah. Now I'm not so. Yeah, and there's pictures of those on the box, obviously. But a lot of people like that because it gives you restaurant quality. But so I'm excited to
welcome
try
to the
it.
show, and we're
welcome.
going to try it out.
Right, and if you go to mangreat.com right now, they've got 50% off
Yeah.
on everything, on the premium brushes and on the
actual
grills. And I believe
grills.
there's three different sizes, but 50% off. And I was pleasantly surprised. I thought for the value, it was a really good price.
Yeah.
So we're excited to have them. Welcome to the focus group, Mangrate.
Yay.
Hopefully, our listeners will be as
them a
excited
shot.
as we are.
Well, I think a lot of folks that don't live in, like, I'm here in the city. It's hard for me to put a
Could grill.
grill on,
Allowed.
but upstate I can. Yeah, so John had some video. So it can go on a charcoal. I'm intrigued. Anything, and we do like to grill.
What's he doing?
Funny, someone's putting a ham. They're nailing a
I
ham.
could do that.
So I like the hammer one.
So what caught your eye this week?
What caught your eye? Here's what Tim and John found.
As John's got to knock
Gotta
that
put
off.
that man grate down. I lost my shoulders out
A
of
bicep out of that.
I can leave this here for the time being. What caught my eye this week is a little bit of a sweet and sour, or the Sour Patch Kids. You ever see the TV ads for the Sour Patch? First they're sour, then they're sweet. So the sour part is.
I don't think I've seen the ad.
Oh, they're hilarious. They're little goomy things, and they do nasty things, and they blow up stuff, and then they're sweet. Then they save you after they give you a cup of water after they blow up your car or something. So the first one's sour, and this headline reads: Missouri State Congressman claims homosexuals and human beings are different.
Right.
So let's see. There he is. The congressman.
How old is he? Looks young.
Yeah, his name is Rick Bratton.
Handsome.
I'm not even going to give him that. I was going to say, yeah, good
Good night
looking
with
guy.
me. I'll teach him the meaning of respect.
Missouri State Representative Rick Bratton revealed that he believed there is a distinction between human beings and people who are gay during a debate over a bill protecting the state's LGBTQ community from discrimination. In Missouri, citizens can legally be discriminated against based on their sexual orientation. On May 8th, state legislators attempted to pass an amendment banning sexually oriented based prejudice when Bratton expressed his concern over the proposal, and here's what he said. When you look at the tenets of religion, of the Bible, of the Quran, of other religions, there is a distinction between homosexuality and just being a human being, Bratton told the House floor. According to the Kansas City Star, Bratton, has yet to clarify his statement, although it aligns with his previous push for teaching creationism in public schools. Bratton's inadequate understanding of elementary biology is not the first time he's demonstrated his supreme ignorance. He was also one of the notorious congressmen who once tried to establish a differentiation between rape and legitimate rape.
Is he that one?
As one of them. As it related to an anti-abortion bill he proposed, the bill would have required pregnant women to receive the father's written consent before obtaining an abortion, except in the case of legitimate rape. Whenever that legitimate stuff goes on, adding insult to injury, the Missouri State Legislature passed Senate Bill 43, a law that would make it harder to sue for discrimination. So, Sour Patch Kid goes to Rick Bratton, State Representative Rick Bratton, who's handsome, yes, but,
Oh, he looks like he's got gay face. Don't you think? You look at him.
I don't,
Gay face. That's gay face. Look at the hairdo and the whole deal.
you don't think that's just metrosexual?
That's gay face.
That's Missouri.
You boys in the booth think that's gay face, Allie?
I mean, he's hot, so
Well,
usually gay guys are hot. So I'm
I love Allie's
usually.
logic. Okay, so the second
Would you take a
one,
bro job, John?
when I take a bro job, yeah, that's what
What you need to know.
that's up for debate. Now the sweet part. So we had the sour part. State Representative Bratton and his comparing, like the homosexuals are somehow different than human beings, which is just bizarre. Like, where is that? Was he homeschooled? I guess he was homeschooled.
Well,
But this one is the sweet part of Caught Your Eye. Ambulance crew takes dying woman to the beach to see the ocean one last time, and tears were shed. So a terminally ill elderly woman in Australia had an ambulance crew transporting her to a local palliative care hospital, and she had them make a diversion, and she said she wanted to see the ocean for the last time. The patient was heading to palliative care, and one of the ambulance drivers, Cooper, later told the series reporter she was on her last journey back to the hospital, which she was going to basically pass away, and she knew it. And the drivers agreed to do this, and they took her to the ocean, and they set her up. We popped her up on the hill where she could see the pier and Fraser Island and right through to Point Burham, and she was ecstatic. And if they thought if all the rocks weren't there, they would have taken her to the beach, but she said this was a really special moment for her, and it turns out that the ambulance crews actually do this more often than you might suspect.
Really?
Well, when they're transporting people who they know are end of life, they sometimes get requests from the family or the individual, and
Drive by a particular place.
yeah, and so she
I thought you were going to say they left her there and she died, and not in a bad way, but that they
No.
she wanted to die looking at the ocean, or
she completed her journey to the hospital, and I do think she's passed since. But she said she's at peace with everything, and she thanked the crew for doing this. So we had sour, a nasty.
Where would you want somebody to drive you for your last vision, besides my house?
So I could sit on the bowl and get that nice aroma,
like caramel.
Did I have birthday cake Oreo?
Birthday cake Oreos, they smell good.
You know, I thought about it, and there are a number of places upstate when I'm on my bike where I just stop sometimes and look at the countryside. And, yeah, so there are a number of places but I think if you're a big fan of the ocean, you might definitely want to see that for the last time. So that was kind of sweet.
Do you want to take a quick call before we do mine?
Sure.
Hey, Billy in New York, welcome to the focus group.
I don't know where to begin except thank you, Allie.
You're welcome.
I want to remind everyone that the lovely time of the season is here. I heard the anti-gay bell today at Walmart.
Oh, Salvation Army?
Yes. I behaved. I didn't drop my condom in the little box like I usually do.
Billy, wait a minute. Do you do that?
Well, yeah, sometimes I happen to conveniently have one in my pocket, and I just slip one in their bucket.
That's a great idea.
That's a very good idea. And if you get the gold round ones, it could look like a gold coin, like a chocolate coin.
They've doubled down. I mean, they make no bones about the fact that they're...
No.
Well, they put the most hideous thing out there to shake that bell. It's like, oh, look, the anti-gay bell. I can hear it from the car. Yeah, I know, I went to Walmart, but, hey, I needed some glue for a project.
I needed some glue for a project.
Well, thanks for calling and letting us know. I'm going to look out for. I haven't seen the Salvation Army bell yet.
We saw a bell ringer upstate, and Billy's in a different part of upstate, but they appeared, and I remember Bob said to me the other day, Billy, he goes, "Are we allowed to?" And I said, "No." I said, "Not the kettle. We don't."
Well, you have one in Hudson, don't you?
Uh-huh. We got a lot of bell ringers in Hudson.
They're on their feet.
And we see the cat. Yeah.
Very nice.
Toes.
All right, I have to let Tim do his thing, otherwise he'll get fussy with me. I don't want him to have a Trump tampon temper.
Listen, we're on the clock, Billy. You understand how it goes. We've got guests and phone calls lined up. We've
to do.
Brian is there. That's wonderful.
That's right. Brian's here. He's
Brian
waving.
is great.
Give him a big hug for me.
We will. Thanks, Billy.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks. Mine is I don't know. Mine's not sour or sweet, John. Mine's just a little crazy. This came out of India, of course.
Oh, we talked about this.
Headline is doctors treating man for stomach ache discover hundreds of coins and nails in his stomach.
It's just,
Happens to the best of us. He had a stomach ache. He went to the doctor thinking he might have had a virus. Said he wasn't feeling well, and every time he would eat, he felt pain. So they did an x-ray. They found 15 pounds of random objects like coins and nails lodged in his gut. So they said that it was discovered that he had various bits of metal. In total, he had over 3 pounds of nails, nearly 300 coins, and some rusty chunks of iron and razors were found in his stomach.
What was the total poundage? It was 3 pounds.
15 pounds.
15 pounds of metal?
Needless to say, required immediate surgery to have the items removed from his guts. Once the doctors got inside and they removed the metal bits, they also found some random shards of glass. Apparently he liked glass, too. All told, he had 15 pounds of foreign objects in his body. Doctor said this was a first. He carried on life as usual.
Wait, Tim. Do you hear how he read that? Doctor said this was a first.
It was a first.
Descending note. I like that.
They said that he would live his life as usual and for months, and he would occasionally ingest random items, including coins and other things that customers gave him at his daily job. He would swallow them like pills and take them with water and then resume his daily routine. So eventually this huge mass of coinage and twisted metal began to cause problems. The nails even punctured his lining of his stomach, which is what caused the pain.
I'm so glad you said that.
and the
I was going
internal
to ask
bleeding.
about that because how can you can't guarantee that thing's, oh my God, a nail.
Doctors believe he may have suffered from some sort of mental imbalance.
May have.
Yeah.
You're swallowing
It
nails,
would
glass,
cause him to
pennies, and
consume
quarters,
inanimate objects, so that he's receiving treatment, and they hope he can live a normal life in the future.
and that's what caught your eye.
I had trouble with Caught My Eye this week, but that one did.
Really? I know a couple sites to go to get some.
So you're
either,
better at that.
Either fun, good stories for Caught Your Eye, or like that crazy.
Well, see, you're better at me than that. I
Sorry,
can
Steve.
find business birthdays, for instance.
Now I'm going to also
Wait a
share.
minute.
What?
Go ahead.
I want to share a quick one for you. So we had Thanksgiving with our group of friends, and our friend Cecile, before we went to a restaurant this year, she hands out these pens, okay? So it's a boxing Santa. There's the little levers on the back, and when you push it, see how his eyes light
His
up?
eyes are creepy.
Yeah. All right. So we laughed our asses off about this, and I'll tell you why. Someone came up with this idea. Someone put it in production. Someone ordered it at Duane Reade and thought, oh, this is a hilarious little.
And someone bought it.
Glad you said that. So thank
bought
you,
that again?
Cecile, for
Cecile.
boxing Santa.
Everyone get
See
a
him go?
boxing Santa?
There's a snowman, too. There's a boxing snowman. We were going crazy. We were laughing. And it's
wonder how much they were.
It's demonic. Look at the little red eyes.
Like my cat when
All
you
right.
take a picture of the cat. So our business birthdays today.
Everyone does celebrity birthday greetings, but the Focus Group is the only show in the universe that celebrates business birthdays.
John's better at English than I am. I think his name is Patrick Byrne.
What's the, how do you
Byrne. It wouldn't be
Byrne.
Brine.
Byrne.
I don't know
Yeah,
why I
like
thought
David-
it could have been
like
Brine.
David Byrne.
That's what I thought. Anyway, he's 55 today, born November 29th in 1962 in Fort Wayne, Indiana. He's the founder of Overstock.com. Have you ever gone to Overstock.com?
Yes, yeah. It's a catch as catch can because it's overstock. But you could find some good stuff, right?
He was dubbed the Renaissance Man of e-commerce by Fortune magazine. So when they said Overstock.com was the first online retailer to accept Bitcoin and becoming a billion-dollar company while achieving full profitability in less than a decade. Did you buy any Bitcoin stock? Apparently we missed out.
We missed out on that. No.
It's doubled or tripled in the last week.
You know who's big on the Bitcoin thing? Strangely, the Winklevoss twins, the ones that had the rowers, the Olympic rowers, and the Mark
For the
Zuckerberg thing. Yeah.
Facebook.
Yeah, exactly.
So in 1999, he launched Overstock, interestingly, after he led two smaller companies owned by Warren Buffett. So he used to work for Buffett.
All right.
And then he left and started this Overstock. He took it public in 2002. It's made, as I said, over $1.8 billion. He took a leave of absence of April 2016 because of hepatitis C.
That's they didn't even know how to diagnose that.
Where do you get that from? Bad shellfish?
No, that's bad shellfish. A and B are the most easily transmitted. Hepatitis A, hepatitis B,
Isn't
and
there
that's
one you get from
bad shellfish, and then dirty kitty.
Dirty Kitty? I know. Did he have gay face?
No, I don't think he had gay face. But
The,
C though lurks for a long time, and you might not know you have it for years.
Turn yellow, don't you?
Well, no, it just causes problems way down the line, and the treatment is now they finally have some good antibiotics for it, but it's not a. It's a lot of people have it, they don't know it.
Some trivia you might like about him, John. He started the World Stock Fair Trade. He started World Stock Fair Trade as a way to give back in a sustainable fashion to artisans in developing nations. He's a black belt in Taekwondo. He's ridden his bicycle across the U.S. 4 times.
Congratulations!
He's a linguist, a skydiver, a scuba diver, and a 3-time cancer survivor. He also pursued a career in professional boxing. Happy birthday, Patrick.
Yeah, well, that's a happy birthday indeed if he's done the bike riding and the surviving
Actually,
three
4 times
episodes
back
of
and forth. When you got $1.8 billion, though, you could do it. We could do that.
Yeah, he probably has 10 cars following along as support vehicles. I think I'm going to take a nap in the Mercedes. Okay.
Also celebrating today is Eugene Polly. He's not celebrating, he's dead. He died in 2012 at 96.
Celebrating,
You probably don't know the name, but he was the inventor of the wireless TV remote control,
click, click,
which made television watching much more comfortable.
click, click, Remember how mechanical that thing was?
He joined the Zenith Corporation in the stockroom and eventually rose through the ranks to create the Flashmatic remote. So after World War II, TV sets began to colonize American homes, and Zenith's president, Eugene McDonald, faced a quandary. He said that we needed to figure out how certain viewers were going to react to the advent of television commercials. He felt people were going to abandon TV sets because of too many commercials. So he wanted to invent a remote so that people could skip around. So that's what he challenged Eugene to do. And so Eugene invented this Flash-O-Matic remote. He told an interviewer in 2001 that the flush toilet may have been the most civilized invention ever devised, but the remote control is the next most important. He said it's almost as important as sex. So the Flashmatic remote worked.
By the way, I do agree with him. I think the flush toilet was a really smart invention, right?
So it was shaped like a gun because of all the westerns that were on TV. So he shaped it like a gun, and it got this laser. And there were 4 points on the Zenith TV, and one would go forward, one would go back, one would do volume, whatever. But
that is super funny. I'm glad you found this one. I had no idea that the first remote was a gun-shaped. And if you're listening on the audio podcast, Tim put up an old ad for the Flashmatic. Has a woman in this like
visible beam
50s style chair. She's got capri pants on. She's curled up, and she's pointing this thing directly, and it shows on the TV the 4 zones.
But the problem is people got confused where to hit. So they sold 30,000 of these Flashmatic sets. They said because the system was light activated, sunlight would hit the TV, and then the TV would go crazy and spontaneous like a roulette wheel.
Sunlight hitting
the sunlight would come in the window, and the TV just started flicking. So they obviously had to change, and another guy came in and fixed or created a new remote that wasn't relying on the light activation.
It was probably on a
sometimes he gets mistakenly said that he invented the remote, but he did not. It really was this Eugene Pauly. For his invention, guess what he received from Zenith?
A golden pocket watch on retirement.
$1,000.
$1,000. See, this is the good old days. He was part of the team. He's part of the company. Thank you. Here's a pencil sharpener, golden watch, and...
Yeah, so that's that poor thing. So, hey, as many of you know, and it's holiday time, as we've talked about, our partner here at the Focus Group, which we've had a lot of fun with all this year, picking out items, is Deep Discount. If you go to focusgroupradio.com, just click on the shark logo. It says Deep Discount.
I like to do
your arr. There's the Deep Discount logo if you're watching on the video version. But if you click there and then get to the site-wide Black Friday cyber sale, which is still going on, we get credit. So that's why we like you to go through our site. But what's been fun about this week is, or this site-wide sale, is we can go anywhere. So it's not just the movies or DVDs, but it's apparel, it's music. And I am much more of a music fan than you are much more of a movie fan. So it's been funny doing this because, once again, I picked something non-movie.
Can I just also tell everybody, we want to thank you. If you've been shopping at Deep Discount because of the Focus Group, by all means, share your purchases with us, because I am fascinated by what people buy. And we've gotten some great emails with some people take pictures of their orders, and it's movies or discs. And I was on the phone with Tim the other day, and I was looking up Snow Globe, the Erasure album you mentioned, out of stock.
Back order. Ella Fitzgerald.
Back order. So clearly,
Alba Oro, was that there?
Back order. So apparently,
sold out the albums.
Now either they had 2 or you
got one.
But we heard from some listeners who followed your advice and bought 4 or 5 of the Ella discs as housewarming gifts for the holidays. So we've had a lot of fun working with Deep Discount, and they've been extremely fun to work with, and they allow us latitude.
So what did you pick this week?
So I went with TV, movie, and book. So I'll start with well, actually, no, 2 TV. If you're an HBO subscriber, you may have watched the new version of Westworld that they put on this past year. I fell in love with it. I've watched Game of Thrones. I kind of dropped off at season 5. Everybody's obsessed with it. Westworld really caught my attention. I loved it. Anthony Hopkins was in it. Evan Rachel Wood, James Marsden, Jeffrey Wright. Great cast, very intelligently written. New season starts sometime in the new year. They're not really saying when, but they are in production. 10-episode arc. Season 1's available on Blu-ray at Deep Discount. My second one...
Sci-fi.
I wish you could, if you're listening, there's a lip curl that Tim does. Sci-fi. You get me on that sci-fi
It almost
train.
looks like Melania's Christmas village at the White House.
No, very
That
stark.
cover,
Yeah, it's Tim Burton. Tim Burton could have done it. So my next one is a book, and it's a graphic novel, and it's a graphic novel that is credited with actually changing the nature of how we view comic books. The book is called Watchmen, and it's by Alan Moore and David Gibbons. And it's a graphic novel. It's about an alternate reality where superheroes exist and they're retired, and an event happens and they actually come out of retirement to kind of solve a problem. I'll just say it was introduced to me by a friend. I was skeptical. I read it. I loved it. Then they made a movie out of it. But I urge you to pick up the book. And this version that Deep Discount has, I've never seen this
Is
before.
Watchmen the one that Hugh Jackman was in?
No, that's the X-Men.
Oh.
Yeah, Hugh Jackman was in the X-Men. So this version of the Watchmen is a hardback book with concept art never seen before. All actually the whole book, plus some, commentary by some of the authors about how this really was a game changer for graphic novels in general and for comics. And the last thing I picked is a favorite PBS show from growing up, well worth rewatching because of the acting, and it's I, Claudius, based on two of my favorite books by Robert Graves, Claudius and Claudius the God. I, Claudius was a PBS show that starred Derek Jacobi as Claudius the Emperor, and John Hurt played Caligula, I believe. You watch it today. You ever seen I, Claudius?
It's a fun weekend at the Nash household.
This is a gift for anybody who's a PBS fan. If they're dying to watch Downton Abbey again, get them Brideshead Revisited or get them Claudius, I, Claudius. It's a great series, and it's a really well acted, well done.
Didn't we have to read that book?
You might have had to read I, Claudius in school by Robert Graves. Yeah, it's a really great book. So those are my picks.
And mine could not be any different.
Of course.
So my first one, and both of mine, one's music and one is music DVD Blu-ray. So the first one is Big Easy Express.
I was curious about this. You put this up. What
So this
is
came out in July of 2012, and it stars the Old Crow Medicine Show, Ed Sharp and the Magnetic Zeros, and Mumford and Sons. And it's like the Old Crow Medicine Show. So what these guys have done is they've got on a train in California, a vintage train, and they go from California to Louisiana, to New Orleans. And they stop along the way and put on these concerts. And I have never heard of this. It's fantastic. I'm going to post... after the show, I'm going to post one of the videos of when they stopped, and somewhere in Missouri, I believe it was, and they have this song. You can see it on YouTube. It's called "This Train's Bound for Glory." But all three of these groups together, and it's just a fun romp of great music and just
our tastes. You'd think we weren't. I mean. On paper, but we're not. I'm not sure we're friends.
Come to my house for fun. You go slit your wrist at the Nash house. I'm having cocktails and dancing, and you're watching I, Claudius.
Listen, I'm reading Watchmen, the comic. Yeah.
Dystopia. No water. There's no sun.
No food.
Dancing.
Yay!
Dancing and
Party's
drinking.
on.
And my second one is. It's funny when I used to be able to, or all of us used to be able to go wander record stores. I would always look for this group. So in Philadelphia back in the day when I used to go out late night at a club called Revival, there was a group called the Executive Slacks.
Okay.
And the Executive Slacks really were the precursors for Nine Inch Nails, Ministry. It's that kind of post-gothic rock. I'm almost a little afraid to recommend this, but if you like Susie and the Banshees, you like Nine Inch Nails, this is industrial dance. They were the industrial dance pioneers. They never got their due.
Industrial dance.
Oh my God, it is just hard charge. And Jay and I would love this. I mean, we would go.
Well, if you put Ministry and Susie in the category as
and they came to Philadelphia. This particular set here,
it's 82,
everything they've done plus live stuff. 22 tracks that were previously unreleased, and they say it's hair-raisingly hectic, unhinged industrial dance. But it's. My three favorite songs in there are Solemn Dilemma, Say It Isn't So, and Rock and Roll are the three that I would listen to over and over. And I actually posted one on my personal site. If you're a friend of mine on Facebook, there's a version of that there. The funny thing I thought you would like is how they got their name. So they were three college students at the College of Art. So Executive Slacks, they said they were reading a magazine advertisement for mail order pants. And they were three for $9.99. And they said, we like the dichotomy between the idea of executive and the pathetic cheapness of the product. They said, secondly, the two words create an internal contradiction. meaning slacks, meaning lazy,
Yeah.
and executive. And then they said, thirdly, we like the contraction of executive slacks. It reminded us of X-lax. So,
All right.
they now live in New York, Philly, and Boston. They broke up. People keep asking them to get together. They don't. But so it's the executive slacks, the complete recordings, and the Big Easy Express were my two recommendations this week.
You couldn't do a different. All right, so recap was HBO's new Westworld season 1 on Blu-ray, Watchmen hardback book, famous graphic novel, and it's a precursor to a lot of stuff in our popular culture. I, Claudius on DVD. Tim says it's a snooze. You're not going to slit your wrists. It's a great acting job. He also picked
Big Easy Express for me.
I'm intrigued by, and Executive
complete
Slacks.
recordings of the executive slacks.
So
Edgy though.
there you go. What do we say, Garrett?
Thanks, Deep Discount.
We're going to take a very quick break. When we return, Brian Roman's going to be joining us on set. And while we set Brian up, we're going to have a little break, a little billboard for VW. And then we're going to visit with Dave Dunlap, an executive that we interviewed at Out and Equal, who's going to talk about the new warranty they have, for People First warranty.
First.
And then we'll have Brian. So stay with us, and we'll be right back.
Brought to you by Volkswagen. Visit VW.com to learn more.
Absolutely.
So from an advertising standpoint, I know you guys have always been, way back when, as people can remember, Volkswagen advertising. I think the last ad everybody talked about was the kid with the
Oh yeah, the Darth Vader.
that John was a fan of with Darth Vader's Super Bowl.
That was
and then
that was
the
lightning in a
concrete
bottle, man.
jungle ads that have
Yeah.
come out.
Oh, I love the concrete
The
jungle.
Atlas. So we actually have the two cars here. We have
Right.
the Tiguan behind us and the new Atlas. So for advertising, is there anything you can share with us that's coming, or any exciting stuff we should look for?
Well, absolutely. Volkswagen just announced, I believe it was 2 weeks ago Thursday, the People First warranty, which is the best
People First warranty.
It's a
Car
6-year, 72,000 mile, bumper to bumper transferable warranty, which is
Transferable?
transferable to the
So if you buy the
subsequent
car,
owners.
oh, wow.
Yeah, you sell your car, the owner inherits the coverage for 6 years, 72,000 miles.
Wow.
And that's double a lot of manufacturers in the industry. And we're going to be
Focus on the savvy side of 9 to 5 with the Focus Group.
Try, really try.
Listen, laugh, and learn with Tim and John.
I never try anything. I just do it.
On the right side.
Oh, welcome back to the Focus Group. Tim Bennett here, as always, with my good friend and co-host John Nash. We are the Focus Group, and once a quarter we have our friend Brian Roman join us. He's the president and founder of AdMark 360. He does all of our promotional items and our socks.
He
and
could
our
do
mugs,
yours. He could do yours
and our,
too.
those
right?
shirts you just saw that we
our
wore at
our
VW.
great Focus Group shirts.
Mine's too big though, but that was Ella Bean's problem.
Yeah.
My problem with ordering. I don't know what to do. It's too big.
Send it back.
It won't shrink. They won't take it back with it already engraved, will it?
I'll buy another one.
Embroider?
We'll get it engraved for you.
All right.
We'll get it engraved.
So,
That'll be a special shirt
Not
indeed,
great. Well,
right?
you can do that, and now they're actually doing.
You can engrave now?
Laser engraving. on
Laser
shirts.
etching on the clothing.
So we have a segment that that Brian does with us each quarter, where he brings us 3 companies that are LGBT owned, and we call it the Focus Group LGBT Business Spotlight, brought to you by AdMark 360.
Brian, would you say that you purposely looked at small business?
Yeah, I'm looking at for
Sole
small.
proprietor, small business, unique ideas, people that are doing some fun stuff.
Exactly right, and I go through the NGLCC and some of the local community chambers of commerce to find them, and it's a fun process. And I think I met some great guys on this show, and I have a lot of good ones coming up.
So you had so I was going to ask that question. Is it? I know they always talk about there's X amount of LGBT owned businesses or whatever, but how are you sourcing these folks? Is this by networking, or how are you finding out? How are
I'm
you
going
finding
on
these
researching, finding them, reading about them on their websites, or looking for just some information about them on the web. And then if
Is it through the NGLCC? Because you're a member, right?
Yeah, I'm a member of the NGLCC, but yeah, go to their website, see that they're certified
and
or
for
whatever.
any acronym challenge, National Gay and Lesbian Chamber of Commerce.
And then
Don't bang your hands. John will tell you.
And then,
but he did.
The Michael pick, yeah.
The mic's very sensitive.
So I'll look for their
John will
profiles
take-
and find a good one, or two, or three, or four, or actually there's a bunch of them on there. So
Well, it's good to have more than none.
Oh, yeah.
So who would you like to start with?
I believe we're going to start with Adam. Adam has a company called Moodcast, and it's starting up. It's a startup, and he makes candles, scented candles, and different scents for your home. And it's pretty interesting. We caught him. He's now in Texas, I believe, at his manufacturing plant. So it'll be interesting to
Texas?
see where you are.
Is that where he's based?
No, he's out of.
Well, we'll ask him.
Yeah, we'll ask him.
We have him on the line.
Yeah.
Yeah, John's thumbs up. Hey, Adam, how are you?
Guys, what's going on? Thanks for having me.
Adam, can I pronounce your last name? Here, no, I'm going to do it, and then you're
He's
going
gonna
to
try
you're
with
gonna
an
tell-
accent.
you're-
Hochschuler.
I say it's Hochschuler.
Yes.
Well done. Impressive. Do you know what it means? Do you know how it translates?
No.
High school student.
Really?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Always a
I
high
thought it
school.
was horse rider. My German's not good. Is it German?
It is German, yeah.
Oh, see, I'm not good at it. I'm not good
Ich
at
bin
that.
Hans. Or Johann. I didn't like Johann. I had Hans. Hey, so welcome to the focus group. Tell us a little bit about Moodcast.
So, it happened probably like 5-6 years ago. I started dating my now husband and was kind of overwhelmed every time I come to his place. He'd have flowers. He really made his home like a really nice place to be, and he'd always have kind of some kind of fragranced item, normally a scented candle lit. And I just kind of fell in love with the experience. I realized I'm not the most emotional person. I'm not so great at being in touch with my emotions, but literally the fragrance had such an effect on me. It would just totally transport me and put me in a different mood. And it was kind of then that the beginning of this brand was born, and how much I love the power of fragrance and that I wanted to incorporate
What's
it.
your favorite smell?
Just pure smell. I don't know that I have just one smell.
I mean, is it lavender or
complexity of fragrances?
Is it lavender or is there a woodsy smell or what? I mean, is there one that you particularly?
I mean, I do love some of the more kind of calming, pleasing scents like that a lavender would normally be associated with. Yeah, that's kind of something to just really relax with.
Wow.
So, Adam, I'm just as a I used to own an ad agency, and as a marketing guy, I was paid to kick the tires on the car technically, and I would say this: is it a crowded space when we look at scents and fragrances? So, how do you plan on differentiating Moodcast from just anybody else that's doing this?
Yeah, so I left my job about a year ago, and my background is in brand management and really figuring out that white space for the consumer and kind of where no one else is playing. And at the high end or the premium end of the market, you don't see many brands focused on the emotional benefit of candles, which is something that the new kind of consumers, the millennials, are really looking for, this emotional experience-based product. So whereas you would go and buy just a simple scent, maybe just a lavender scent, I'm really trying to put forward the mood, the emotional aspect. So now you're getting something that's called Daydreamer, and it really lets you kind of be that persona and live in that mood versus just buying a scent.
So is your experience having worked in a very formal packaged goods environment, did that help you source? Because a lot of people would say, oh, I think this would be a great idea.
Yeah.
How were you able to decide, I'd like to do this? What kind of steps did you take to actually source your product or get your product manufactured?
So it has been a long journey, and I've moved through a lot of different suppliers trying to find the right ones to get the product where it needs to be. But it's kind of just a matter of putting the feelers out there, talking to people. I can't tell you how much it's helped. Just you're at a random dinner and you have to strike up a conversation with someone. They're like, oh, I have a friend who's, and just following up on those leads has meant really everything. And then fingers crossed you get someone who you like working with who does a good job, and you move forward from there.
Wow.
Now, is Moodcast going to be something that is going to be sold exclusively online, or are you hoping to have your product be like a featured selection in stores that would normally carry this?
Yeah, so the original concept was to be a wholesale to retail concept. So I was hoping retailers would kind of fall in love with the brand and carry it and see it as something very different and for a different targeted consumer than what they're normally offering. But I'm definitely starting out with e-com. I want to get all the bugs out first before moving forward with a retail.
And how much will they cost? Do you have a price point?
Yeah, so price point for right now is $48. We'll see if retailers want to take it up, but I'll try to keep it that low for everybody.
Wow.
What size candle is that?
So it's your standard size, about a little over 8-ounce candle.
Okay.
Other candles in this range go for $80 to over $100. So it just kind of depends.
Wow.
Fragrance oil is really kind of what separates a lot of the candle prices. Obviously brand as well, but the fragrance oil is where the price difference comes in. And if you're over $40, you're using really nice fragrance.
Yeah. So has your husband helped you then, since he seemed to be the impetus for this? I mean, has he helped you with developing the business, or has this been kind of a one-man show?
If he were here, he would say it's 100% him. So there's that. But no, he's been phenomenal all along the way. He's a custom home builder, so he has his whole head in the design world. So he constantly is kind of commenting on a lot of the design aspects and what he'd like to see, and he's definitely helped, shape and influence the line. So it's been great having him along.
I don't think we asked you. So where are you based?
So the LA, the Texas, all that's right. I literally just moved back to Texas like a month ago,
okay.
but this all started in LA, and then I moved back. I'm from Texas, and I just moved back there about a month ago.
Where in Texas? I don't hear an accent.
Dallas, but yeah, both my parents are from the Northeast, so
Boy, I gotta tell you, Adam's got everything like ding, 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 no question.
So if somebody wanted, is your product for sale yet, or is it still being manufactured? How can people learn more about you?
Yeah, thanks for asking. So right now I'm actually at the facility where we are doing our first production run, and it's so exciting and everything's kind of coming together, looking great. But for the time being, Moodcast Fragrance Co. Follow me on Instagram, Moodcast Fragrance Co. The website will be up soon, but if you just follow on Instagram, you'll be able to get all the information when the website is up, and we will be available for sale prior to the holiday gift-giving season, so please consider us.
I took a sneak peek at the website. It's going to be sharp.
So it's moodcast.com?
So it's moodcast.co, just C-O, because we're
company.
trendy. But yeah, it's Moodcast Fragrance Co. is the Instagram handle.
Moodcast, because we want to put it on our site. Fragrance Co. Okay.
This is going to be. We may need an official scent for the.
Well, you know me. I'm a whore for scents.
Well, no, and you actually this resonates with you because
I love
your home has always been. Tim gave me one of my first scented. Well,
he has something scented behind his toilet.
One of my favorite scents that you gave me was the perfect pine.
Yeah, pine.
Hard to replicate that one. Either it's too much, too little, but you could have that thing at the holidays. And even though I'm not a big fan, yeah, it puts me in the holiday spirit.
Great.
Hey, so thank you, Adam. Thanks for joining us. It's
thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it.
Moodcast.co is the official website,
yep.
And Moodcast Fragrance is Instagram, right?
Moodcast Fragrance Co. That's right.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. See ya.
So that's so. How did you find him?
Yeah,
and he's handsome too.
Through the NGLCC website.
To boot, he makes candles and he's a good-looking guy. He smells good.
I bet his house smells good.
Which is really a very horrible thing to say, right? You're not supposed to say somebody's attractive anymore.
Well, unless you want to lose your job.
They're not a coworker. Don't worry about it. You're not doing anything horrible. I think no. We had this funny conversation about this, and I said to Tim, I'm down to the point where the most I can do nowadays is compliment somebody's earrings.
Mm-hmm.
Those are beautiful earrings. Where'd you get them? Oh, I got them at the Met, or I got them at this little boutique downtown.
What I can say.
But yeah. Anyway, he was. Adam is pretty cool, and one of the things about the businesses you bring to us that I'm intrigued about is I love watching people take a passion project and turn it into something. Who knows where Moodcast is going to go, but for now it's going to be this cool website, cool fragrances.
I mean, I could see me doing this sort of thing. I wouldn't know the first thing about it, though, which is why I asked, because I do think
manufacturing, sourcing.
I had a friend that thought he wanted to do suntan lotion. And so we were in Chicago, and he had researched the heck out of it and spent a year and a half and a lot of dollars and found somebody to source it. But then you're looking for shelf space, and then it's all the things that go into a business, similar to, I guess, like liquor, right? You want to get shelf space or whatever. So who's
up next, Brian?
The next one here is Frank Zarinsky. He is a loyal focus group listener. And he recently contacted me for some orders. Thank you, Frank. And he is a company that does real estate photography, architectural photography, and he's got an interesting story about where the name came from. The name of his company is called Motion City Media. Every time I read it, John, I said Moon City.
Oh, yeah.
So
The old
Motion
company,
City
Motion
Media.
City Media.
And let's get him on and talk to him a little bit.
Hello, Frank.
Hey, Frank.
Hey, guys. How are you?
Good.
Frank, it's a pleasure to see you today. Tell us about Motion City Media. What is your company?
Motion City Media, we're a real estate and architectural photography company. We basically do the photography for the real estate agents and all the fun marketing when they get a new listing.
All right, so you're the one responsible for making rooms look bigger than they really are.
We make it for sure.
Have you moved into drone photography yet for some commercial properties and outdoor stuff?
Absolutely. The drone photography and videography is actually taking off. We've got an incredible drone pilot, Greg. His business is Skyview AP. He just crushes it for us. He makes us look good out there.
So how do you go about, so how long have you been doing this, and what did you do before?
This is going to be our 10th year in August.
Congratulations.
Yep. Thank you so much. It's exciting. Hey, but we surround ourselves by the best, so it's not just me. So I was a realtor for a long time, loved real estate. Real estate can be a little bit stressful, but I love the marketing end. Did you guys remember a company called Foxton's Real Estate? They were in Manhattan. They had little, like, those Peace Mini Coopers that drove around everywhere.
Yep, I do.
Yep, so that's who I worked for, and they did a lot of things right, and I learned from them and just, forgot the bad stuff. And what they did right was they did professional marketing on every one of their properties, so that's what we're going for.
Wow.
I'm fascinated by this because I have a friend upstate she's a real estate broker. She owns her own agency, and one day she said to me that the drone photography is going to transform real estate because now a broker can show you the external part of a home. The drone can go up, you can get a sense of the property, you can get a sense of views. So when you look at working with realtors, is that more in demand now, or is it still you're delivering production quality photography, and then maybe they want this as an add-on?
For sure. It starts with the photos. That's the one thing everybody sees. So whether anybody gets a video from us, drone photography, 3D, what goes to every website is the stunning interior and exterior photography. So that is what captures the eye and gets the buyer. So instead of 4 buyers come to the property, 20 buyers come to the property.
Right.
And then the drone is supplemental, and we keep everything in one link so everybody can access all the media. And for sure, we fly from the front door to the boardwalk, to the ocean, to the town. Yeah. And you know what? Saves them a drive-by. Then they come in and just look at the house instead of doing any preliminary work.
Hey, Frank, isn't there a challenge with every realtor? We all have cameras, right? Because we all have cell phones. So I'm just going to click, click, click. And I'm guessing your challenge is how you convince some of these realtors that it's worth the investment to spend the money for professional photography, because I think there's a whole website of funny pictures where you see the beds are unmade, the toilet's not flush. I mean, you can't believe some of the pictures that people put up on these websites. So what would an average session cost, though, for somebody if they wanted to hire a professional photographer for a 3-bedroom house?
For sure. We look at the price point as $199.95, but we look at it as an investment. So they're spending that $200, but they're getting all these new buyer leads. So often our $200 investment turns into $6,000 for them because they get another lead from it. Our smart agents, which all of them are absolutely incredible, they'll hire us even for the little 1-bedroom bungalows because, again, we make them look amazing and they get a ton more buyers at the door, then they capture a new lead. So it works full circle, and then what we love to do, we invest in our clients, and then our clients invest in us. So just this way we all succeed together. It works out pretty well.
Yeah.
Frank, from a business expansion point of view, you're down in Asbury Park, right?
Absolutely, yep.
So how much bigger can you get, and how many more clients can you serve? It seems like there's a geographic footprint because you're going to be dealing with realtors that are within a certain zone for you. But how many miles out do you think you could service?
Right now we service about 50 to 75 miles out, but it's infinite. So what we do, we work with amazing people. We get them set up with the right gear, the right system in the process. We train them intensely. Our lead photographer, his name is Drew, so he's in charge of training, and he teaches them my style and Drew's style, and then we replicate it. And then what works out well for our photographers, they send us all their photos at the end of the day, and we take care of the editing. So it's consistent across the board no matter who's shooting it. So it lets you really replicate and expand across the state and eventually the country.
Yeah, my roommate, I was telling you, Frank, is a real estate photographer, and he does great work as well. I sold my house in a day, and I think it was definitely from those photographs, so I know it's an important thing.
I didn't recognize the house.
The magic of a
I was
photo.
like, I want to move here.
Oh, it's next door.
It's next door, right?
So, Frank, it sounds like from a expansion point of view, Motion City Media has room to grow as long as you can identify talent in other markets and work with them. You guys do a lot of the back end and a lot of the hard work, the editing, the cropping, the serving up the photo. But I think it's a cool business.
You do staging too, then?
We actually work with great stagers. So we pass them off to our stagers, and they get it all ready. But we have a really nice prepare sheet, so the sellers can be in control of the process. So the sellers get the property ready. We get in there. We're usually there for about 75 minutes, and we get stunning photography. Like, we usually deliver about 40 photos from a 75-minute session.
Wow. That's great.
Now, you know, we're all talking about the properties that sound great. I'm sure, Frank, that you have had, and in your previous life as a realtor, I am sure you've walked into a few places and you're like, okay, we're going to take a picture of that light in the corner and the front door, and the rest we're going to leave to the imagination. Does that ever happen?
Oh, for sure. We'll have to share some stories offline.
Hey, Frank, real quick, how'd you come up with the name Motion City Media? I thought that was kind of interesting. It goes along with the story Tim was telling about executive slacks.
For sure. One of our favorite bands is Motion City Soundtrack, and trying to name the business originally is like TriStar Media, all these basic things. And then our favorite band is Motion City Soundtrack. So they influenced our name. And whenever we see them in concert, we're like, hey, we named our company after you, and then they smile, you know?
But they did something with a Moog synthesizer?
Yeah, they had a really cool, unique sound, and even one of their songs was a Will and Grace reference. They're good dudes.
We'll check them out.
Now, Brian had said as he introduced you that have you watched our show or listened to our show for a while?
We've listened for many, many years, from Aunt Barbara to Paul and Mass. Like, literally, we've implemented a lot of things that you guys have spoken about. Like
oh boy, and you're still here.
Yeah, we're making it. Actually, we've doubled every year. All organic growth. We've spent $100 on marketing in 9 years.
Wow.
Literally, what we do is we just be incredible to everybody, have an awesome product, and we get all of our business through referrals and just people seeing what our work looks like.
Yeah, and you know, Frank, that is the heart of it, isn't it? Especially in real estate.
Networking, word of mouth.
People-to-people business, customer service. A realtor says, I use Motion City Media. Man, did they kick back some amazing images. It really helped move the property. And that is there's no magic
use
there,
AdMark
right?
360.
Ah, well, of course. Now we know the secret.
You have our socks?
VW, we remember your advertisers. And yes, we have a pair of socks from 4 years ago.
You'll have to send us a note to letters@focusgroupradio.com, and we'll get you some new socks.
2 pair, I think they need.
Yeah,
I'll look forward to the new ones.
Hey, Frank, Frank Zirinsky, right, from Motion City Media. Why don't you let our listeners know how to reach you via the web so that they can use your services?
Awesome. Thank you guys for the opportunity, and thank you for having us on the show today. It's motioncitymedia.com, and also our number is 888-771-7872. And I do want to say we're surrounded by the best. Like, our team is everything, and that's why we're so successful. Our team and our clients. So it's not just me, but it's everybody working together.
And that's a good owner. You thank everybody that helps make the product. I think it's fantastic. Frank, have a great afternoon.
Thank you.
It's Frank from Motion City Media, and the address again is motioncitymedia.com.
Hey, guys, thanks for your time
Thank
today.
you.
Bye-bye.
And we'll be posting all these on.
Yeah, and you want to do it on Facebook as well?
Yeah,
I
we'll do it
think?
on Facebook.
Yeah, we'll do it on Facebook.
Hey, Brian, so far, we're going to take a quick break, folks, and I hope you're enjoying Brian Roman, who's to my right here, although maybe to your left.
The white shirt.
And we're doing our segment, which we call the AdMark 360 Business Spotlight. Brian Roman is the owner and proprietor of AdMark 360. All your merchandising and premium needs can be done by you. We're going to take a quick break, and when we return, Brian has one more business for us, and I think this one's fascinating. So stay with us. We'll be right back after this quick break.
Brought to you by Volkswagen. Visit VW.com to learn more. Now back to the Focus Group with Tim and John.
Because he has a lot of chutzpah.
An entertaining look at the world of business.
Heads are spinning, heads are spinning.
Listen, laugh, and learn.
I am not gay. I never have been gay.
That's my voice.
Oh, the imaging is very, what was this, prescient?
It's prescient.
Prescient.
Yes.
What the hell am I saying? Anyway, welcome back to the Focus Group. Hey, as we're in the middle of our segment with Brian Roman here from AdMark 360, and this is a quarterly thing that we do based upon the listener survey. A lot of you said you'd like to learn more about small businesses and LGBT-owned businesses. So we started this segment called the Focus Group LGBT Business Spotlight, and it's brought to you by AdMark 360. And of course, Brian's here, and his website's admark360.com. And it's not too late if your company needs some things for the holiday time to order. Great gifts.
Yes.
I was going to say, I wonder when too late is, though. I mean, too late, there's got to be a cutoff, right?
There's some things you can still get in 3 days, 4 days, but if you're looking for something pretty specific, it's going to take 10.
I love the morons that will call up and say, I need 500 hats embroidered tomorrow. Brian's like, what do you think? I got them.
It's a hat, right?
They're on press.
And how long it would take to embroider 500 hats. So anyway, but
I gave someone one. Brian did USB sticks for us.
Do we have any left?
We have a good amount left. I give them out, and they were laser etched on one side, and so they flip open. And I gave it to somebody because I had to give them some files, and the light catches it. They go, oh, it's your logo. I'm like, yeah, AdMark 360. Tap, 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 tap. Send. So who do you got for us?
Yeah, who's our third guy
here?
here?
The last one here, his name is Rodney Davis. He has a company called Basic White Shirt, which I think is a great name. And I think his logo you'll like there, Tim, because it's got a chihuahua on it.
Oh, like Spike.
Oh, yeah, Spiky. And
it's black. Spiky's black.
Yeah. So, and he's got that snaggle tooth.
And his ears are just like it. So Rodney has an interesting company, and I'd like to learn a little bit more from him.
Rodney?
Hi, guys. How are you?
Rodney, welcome to the show, and welcome. White Shirt, Basic White Shirt is your company. Tell us about it and when you started it.
Okay, well, I started the company in about February of 2007, and my original intent was I quit my corporate job. I work in advertising. I know you guys are former ad guys.
Yep.
So you know exactly what I went through, especially as an account man. So I sort of left to write this great business plan, and I was going to open a great men's store in Brooklyn, and the economy sort of tanked right at that time, and no one was lending money, so I kind of had to figure out a new plan for myself, and I just so happened to get a call from a celebrity makeup artist who I met my first night in New York City many years prior to that, and he asked me if I would manage him, and the rest is sort of history. I managed him and did a very good job at it, and other people kept coming, and I was able to build a business.
Congratulations on that. When I owned two different ad agencies, some of my favorite people were you, the people that represented some of the best talent that showed up, did a fantastic job, and made us look great to our client. And so it's an interesting business you have then. How many people are you now managing?
I have 5 artists right now. So I have one nail tech, one celebrity barber in LA, and three of the world's most sought after makeup artists, I have to say.
So I want to pronounce your name right. Is it Rodney?
It's E. Rodney.
E. Rodney. Okay.
Strong E there, yes.
So E. Rodney.
Strong E. Strong E, yeah.
So so what's interesting to me about this is, how does this work? So if you are, I'll just guess something, and if I'm wrong, just tell me. I'm CNN, and we're going to be doing a special, and I need somebody to come in and do hair and makeup for the 1 hour special.
Or whatever, yeah.
They contact you, and then you manage that or provide, or how does it work?
Okay, so I think the easiest way for me to explain what I do, guys, and it's going to sound a bit crass, but I'm pretty much a pimp.
You like that? It's not crass. Make a buck, baby.
So that kind of gets the point across really quickly as to what I do. But if you want it in more appropriate terms, then I sort of manage the deals for each of these people. So if, let's say, Queen Latifah wants to get her makeup done for, in fact, she's doing Jimmy Fallon tomorrow, and
did we lose you?
Will get in touch with me. I'm sorry?
Oh, he's
we
back.
lost
Yeah,
you
but there was a
there.
little hiccup there for a
Last
second.
thing we heard was Queen Latifah's going on Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah, so she's going on Jimmy Fallon, and her people will call me and say, hey, we've got, a booking with Queen Latifah tomorrow. Is your guy available? Because he's her sort of go-to first guy that she goes to. And if he's available, then we start talking about money. And I'll either have that conversation with her people or, the client, whomever is paying. Like you guys said, if you're doing an advertising shoot for one of your clients when you owned an agency, the agency would call me up. But yeah, I'm sort of the first person that gets called if they want the guys that I manage.
Now, this is Rodney, I think it's an interesting, I am sure you are great at what you do, and one of the fascinating things here is this is a profession where if you're not properly represented, you don't get paid. And you need someone who has the business chops and the reputation to represent you and to do a good job of billing and to sell you and to bill you. So I'm assuming that's why you have some of the top people working with you, is you are very good at representing them and getting everybody compensated in a timely fashion.
Absolutely. I think it's important to, it's an important distinction to make because, how good your agent is sort of really depends on how much money you make as an artist.
Yeah.
And it also informs what sort of money I make. So it only behooves me to do a great job for my guys because I want to make more money as well. And I think I'm probably on the wrong end of it. I probably should have been a hairstylist or makeup artist very well. And and I get my 20%.
But there's a need for someone like you though, because if I'm stereotypical, most artists are probably not the best business people because they're very talented at their craft.
And they're busy. They might be really busy.
And this goes to go out and market themselves. What if somebody was not famous? Because I know you deal with a lot of famous celebrity and clients. But what if it was just somebody that wanted to go out for the evening and wanted to hire a great makeup artist to get them ready? Do you do that as well if somebody contacted you?
As the closest I get to the everyday woman is probably booking my artists for weddings occasionally.
Right. Okay, great.
And it really just depends on the artist. I used to manage an artist who sort of really he would thrive off of working with the everyday woman in addition to his celebrity clients. So he did a lot more of one-on-one makeup trainings and working makeovers on regular women. And then the other guys that I have are a little bit busier, so they don't have as much time to do it. And I think everyday women would have to come up with the money that it would take to take them off the books for that day for one of their celebrity clients.
So is a basic white shirt expansion, or do you feel that you can accommodate and work with another 5 or 10 artists, and would that be a goal of yours?
Well, guys, I generally keep it very my roster very tight because it is just me and one assistant. So I generally try to keep my numbers low. I was up to 10 artists at one point, and I was super busy and didn't have much of a life. So I think I'm, keeping it at about a top 5 for me is probably ideal.
That is that's a very, very smart observation about and that says premium to me as well.
Right.
That's a premium experience.
Just keeping it top 5, but also even a life, keep your life in order.
Life-work balance.
Life-work balance, yeah.
But if you're dealing with the top 5, and this is all celebrity clientele, you can.
You always see these women on Bravo getting done up, in the background. So what does, you don't have to, but in a range, what does an average really good makeup artist make? Is it hourly or is it as a
fee-based?
As a fee-based, yeah. What kind of dollars do they make?
Okay, so it's fee-based based on how much time I'm booking my artist out for. So we have this thing called a do and go, and
I have that too.
Well, guys, I think it's a different kind of do and go we're talking about. But
yours, your hair's messed up. Yeah.
Sort of range for your artist based on how famous your artist is, really. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, but I just didn't know if it was $100 or it's $300 or it's $1,000 or it's $5,000. Yeah.
Depending on the artist, for a do and go where they just show up at their hotel, do their makeup, and leave, I can get anywhere from $350 to $1,500 just for that
depending on the person.
Great. Okay.
It just depends on the artist. Now, if I'm booking advertising day, we know, we can ask a bit more. So I don't want to give away all the tricks.
No, I understand.
Oh, no.
I understand. I just wanted an idea.
Great.
Yeah, but no, to give you a range, I mean, I think a 12-hour day, depending on the artist, can range anywhere from $3,500 plus an agency fee to $10,000 plus agency fee. It really just depends on the artist and the client, and you kind of have to know as an agent who you can ask for the bigger rates.
Yeah, no, and that's
a good director.
Exactly. And
photographer,
a professional on the caliber of the individual that E. Rodney is promoting and working with is going to show up, do an amazing job. Client's going to be thrilled. You're coming,
look like $1 million,
and you're going to come in on budget, and there's going to be no problems. And you want that no problems side of it. All right, so let us know how people can reach you if you want to be reached, because it's a very select. But that's
Don't
good.
bother me.
That's good. Yeah, you get a note back like, no, we're full.
I can be. I'm on Instagram, BWS Management or BWS MGMT on Instagram, and my website is basicwhiteshirt.com. So if anybody's looking to book a celebrity makeup artist, feel free to reach out.
Hey, we're nationwide and worldwide, so you better believe someone's going to, do this. E. Rodney, I want to thank you for joining us today.
We need you guys.
I think you're doing a really cool thing. I'm fascinated by it, and I love your take on work-life balance, and I think you probably do a lot of great work for your clients and the people that hire your talent. So thanks for joining us today, and have a really great holiday.
Thank you, Tim and John, and Brian. I appreciate you as well.
No problem.
Thanks.
Thank you.
What
Nice,
three pleasant companies.
Yeah, what cool businesses, right?
Don't you think we should have a makeup artist?
Oh God, E. Rodney would come in and take one look at me and say, "Girl,
it's gonna be thousands and thousands
of dollars before I touch a hair on your
You'd
head."
have to get here at 10 a.m.
No, 6 a.m. He's got me doing 6.
Did you want to be that white?
No, I tell you, the services are a key. So years ago, we booked a studio to do voiceover. We were doing something for a TV commercial, and we picked the talent. Talent came in. They did the line. They took 4 takes. They were done. We were able to cancel half the day and save the client money. And after everybody left, it was just me and the guy that ran the voiceover studio. And he said, boy, that was smart. I said, what? He goes, you hired one of the best guys. He said he's made an entire living coming in, nailing it for the client.
And get out.
Kids through college. He's got a country house. He goes, he makes a good amount of money doing VO work, and that's a very rarefied circle. His agent, though, was the even better. I mean, they're all great, but the agent knew this and said, if you want to, this is who you got to work with. So that's what E. Rodney is doing.
What do you want? Someone who's going to show up, be dependable,
and represent you correctly. So Brian, nice job.
Thank you, Brian. And I know it was a little bit hairy.
Oh,
there.
Brian had that's a show devoted to how Brian pulled together. And boy, did you pull off a miracle to AdMark 360. You want those 500 caps by tomorrow?
It's a do and go.
I love that. Do and go. I love that.
The name of another show.
Yeah.
And I thought do and go. There's also a couple do and go, right? The up do. So when are we seeing you again?
I guess
First quarter, March of the new year. Okay.
February, March.
Yeah, February, March. Excellent. I think this is
fun.
I love you when you come on. You bring us great people and fun conversations. Cue up.
We're out.
Hey, thank you, Brian. Thank you to everybody for joining us today on Brian's AdMark 360 Business Spotlight. Thanks, Deep Discount. We're a big fan of the brand. We recapped earlier, but what was the?
I'll put them on the Facebook.
What was the Slack one?
Executive
Slacks. If I had to remember anything,
it's a little hardcore, John. You gotta like the Colt.
Thank you to Volkswagen Group of America for sponsoring us for all these years now. And as we mentioned with Dave Dunlap when he was on a little moment ago, there's the People First warranty, which is 5 years. It's transferable. It's a pretty cool warranty, actually. Check out all the vehicles at VW.com. And that's it. We'll see you next week. Don't text and drive. Arrive alive.
Yeah, you practiced.
saw it in your head.
It's the Focus Group with Tim Bennett and John Nash. formerly on SiriusXM satellite radio, and now accessible on all platforms. Subscribe, like, and rate us on your platform of choice. Learn more at focusgroupradio.com.